You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. This literally came from the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And conservative Justice Brian Haydorn. I just want to read this because it's even Republicans are saying how stupid these folks are. This is what he wrote in his, where they rejected the latest lawsuit. Nonetheless, I feel compelled to share a further observation. Something far more fundamental than the winner of Wisconsin's electoral votes is implicated in this case. At stake, in some measure, is faith in our system of free and fair elections, a feature central to the enduring strength of our constitutional republic. It can be easy to blithely move on to the next case with a petition so obviously lacking, but this is sobering. The relief being sought by the petitioners is the most dramatic invocation of judicial power I have ever seen. Judicial acquiescence to such entreaties built on so flimsy a foundation would do indelible damage to every future election. Once the door is open to judicial invalidation of presidential election results, it will be awfully hard to close that door again. This is a dangerous path we are being asked to tread. The loss of public trust in our constitutional order resulting from the exercise of this kind of judicial power would be incalculable. I do not mean to suggest this court should look the other way no matter what, but if there is a sufficient basis to invalidate an election, it must be established with evidence and arguments commensurate with the scale of the claims and the relief sought. These petitioners have come nowhere close. While the rough and tumble world of electoral politics may be the prism through which many view this litigation, it cannot be so for us. In these hallowed halls, the law must rule. Sam Fullwood.
Roland, I'm going to have to push back on the thesis of your argument about how laughable and silly and foolish they are. I think this is far more serious than it is something that's comical at all. Trump doesn't expect to invalidate the election. He doesn't expect to win. What he wants to do is to build an army of ignorant believers, and he is succeeding at that. There are people out there. I'm amazed that there were 75 million Americans who thought this guy should be president. Trump keeps talking about getting 75 million votes. That's what he's counting on. And so it is to his advantage to stoke the flames of nullification of an election to keep his supporters charged up. He has raised, $130 million since the election?
No. 170 million there, and they're on their way to 200.
Okay. Almost $200 million. He'll have $200 million in the next week. $200 million. And the vast bulk of that money is not going to overturning the election. It's going into some kind of pack that he has created in order to stoke, to sort of be a shadow government against the Biden administration. That's not funny. That is deathly serious and frightening.
No. Let me be real clear. What I am calling laughable are the legal attempts and also the arguments that they are making. Oh, there is no doubt we know exactly what they're trying to do. We clearly know that what they are trying to do is sow seeds of discontent. And then, but see, that's what he has done. Here's the deal. This ain't new.
It doesn't matter.
The reality is this here. When he started, no. Here's what I mean. When he started with this whole deal about fake news, it was designed to get his rabid followers to say, we believe nothing any of them say. So what he has done is, for the last 4 years, really, let's go back further, for the last 6 years, what he has done is create a group of people who have no common sense, no knowledge, who are zombies following him. And the problem here, the greater issue, is that the Republican Party, Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, and on and on and on, they have allowed this thug to do these things, and because of their naked power grab, have said nothing. And so their lack of institutional control, their lack of morals and values and principles have allowed what it should be crazy, wacky to become actually the norm.
I totally agree with that. And I think that their arguments in court, yeah, they are ridiculous, but they're designed in a ridiculousness like a fox to appeal to those low information supporters that they have. And it's all of this stuff is going to get thrown out in the courts, but his supporters will say, see, that's deep state courts. And there is a response that they have to everything that is done that is contrary to any democratic notion that we have held heretofore. And I think that that's very, very alarming. I think that's what people really need to keep their eye on.
Yeah. But Greg, we talk about this all the time, and what this is absolutely about trying to preserve as long as they can whiteness, trying to control the levers of power. That's why Mitch McConnell did what he did when it came to those federal judges. That's why many of us, we make the argument that a Joe Biden, for all of his talk about being able to work with Republicans, and then after Trump, they're going to return to the way they used to. No, they have made it perfectly clear. This is how they are going to operate in the future. And the fact that Mitch McConnell and most top Republicans still won't even say President-elect Joe Biden is all you need to know about who they are.
That's right. That's right, Roland. Donald Trump will come to Georgia tomorrow, and he will be Donald Trump, as Mustafa said. As you said, he's going to whine. He may mention Loeffler. He may not mention Loeffler. And to Sam's point, it won't matter. The tricky calculus that they have today, and maybe a little slippage with Perdue over the last 24 hours. Did he or did he not acknowledge Biden? This kind of thing. The challenge that both Perdue and Loeffler have now is, how do you stir up those white nationalists to come to the poll when some of those ignorant folks actually believe Trump? That's their problem now. Can they get drug across the finish line? That's why Ossoff and Warnock and that Get Out the Vote operation have to break the back of those white nationalists by turning out the people to vote. So that's one thing. But to Sam's point, and to the point you're making as well, when we think about this, we understand that Donald Trump is not the beginning of Republican gaslighting. Mitch McConnell, that feckless white nationalist, has been gaslighting the entire country for years. He stole a Supreme Court seat in broad daylight. The speeches that Mitch McConnell has been delivering over the last several years sound just like Donald Trump without the sweat and all the permutation. He simply calls daytime night and nighttime day from the floor of the United States Senate. Donald Trump is not a problem for them in the long run, because if it is not the way they view the world, they will simply ignore. They will simply ignore. Donald Trump didn't introduce anything in American politics. He simply accelerated the inevitable. They are going to fight for whiteness until their death. Many of them are ignorant. Others of them are not. They understand that it doesn't matter, that the law is a fiction, except as interpreted by the courts and enforceable by the rest of the political apparatus once the courts have decided. And what they have demonstrated finally is that if they have the power, a Kyle Rittenhouse can get bail, and a Khalid Browder cannot. A Kyle Rittenhouse can get bail, and the sister who tried to vote and didn't know, she going to jail. In other words, this has nothing to do with truth or morals. This has everything to do with power, and they're going to choose their whiteness over your life and mine, brother. and they're going to do it until we stop them. That's the only thing going. There's no appealing to them, Democrat. You got to break their back.
And that, Mustafa, breaking their backs is because we have to put this in perspective, Mustafa. Not the next 2 years, not the next 4 years, but what we are seeing is that the decisions being made today are going to have a clear and direct impact on our children's children. And folk better be thinking that far down the line when you see the actions happening today. Go ahead.
Well, Brother John Lewis shared with us the vote is precious, the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in our democracy. And if we begin to understand the power that exists inside of that, and we also begin to understand the building of infrastructure for the long term. So that's why I'm excited when we see, this amount of resources finally coming into Georgia. And I hope folks will also build it out in other parts of the South, really begin to invest. Because brothers and sisters were there doing all this hard work, Stacy and Latasha and Brenda and all these other folks, for years getting this infrastructure in place. So for this particular transformational moment, if folks actually get out and vote and get those 50 senators, on the Senate side, and then understand that that's just the first step, that in 2022 and 2024 and 2028, that we got to continue to build until you have enough power that you can actually hopefully right this ship that is America.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.